Hello and welcome to the Unique CPA with your host, Randy Crabtree. We're committed to creating a thriving community of accounting professionals who are physically and mentally healthy, fulfilled, and energized by their work. Our ultimate goal is to elevate the reputation of the accounting profession and vastly improve the lives of those in it. The Unique CPA is brought to you by Tri-Merit, the specialty tax professionals.
Today on the Unique CPA, we have the pleasure of speaking. Actually, I have the pleasure of speaking with Tony Proctor. Tony is the founder and principal of Proctor and Associates, a firm specializing in tax, accounting, and payroll services. Tony actually has a unique background that I think probably ties into the things he's doing, the way he looks at business. I'm sure I wouldn't want to put words in his mouth, but I'm guessing that we'll talk about that a little today. His firm is committed to empowering clients through financial literacy, which is cool, personalized solutions, which is cool, empowering values of education, relationship building, reliability, and drive, all cool. Tony, welcome to the Unique CPA.
Appreciate it, Randy. Thank you, sir. Thank you for having me.
I think that's the most cools I've ever said in even one episode. I got it all in the first sentence. So
I'll send you $20 via Zelle.
Thank you. Oh yeah, you know what? Let me give you my QR code. So. All right. So I did the quick intro there. Anything, I want to kind of get into your, as I mentioned at the beginning, a little bit of your path to accounting. But so before we do that, anything you want to add? The one thing I didn't put in there is he's also a speaker and a very good speaker. So anything you want to add to that intro?
No, I'm good with the intro. So I appreciate that, Randy.
All right, no problem. Well, let's get into the whole, what I was saying, because it's interesting. I personally, accounting was my third career, but my first two were very short, a year in IT and a year in sales before I decided accounting was my career. You actually had a long time in IT and some other areas before you got into accounting. So let's talk about that path.
So interestingly, and I know, we don't have 45 minutes for me to do a whole keynote here, but my mom actually, when I was probably in my teens, maybe even just before I got into my teens, actually started doing taxes, like tax returns.
Okay.
It was her and a couple other relatives. And I remember seeing them like get all the 1040s and all the and this is back in the day when you were doing it by hand. And so I remember seeing that. But in that moment, I was like, oh, okay, it's cool. Mom is doing something extra, so we can eat the cereal that we want to eat. And so I thought nothing of it.
Yeah.
And then kind of fast forward, I've always had an entrepreneur's spirit within me. I mean, you name it, I done sold it legally. But candy at school, the little frozen Kool-Aid cups. Back in the day when Napster was big, I was selling CDs and it's just been in me.
Yeah.
And so continuing to fast forward this thing, I was in IT and I was loving IT. And while I was in IT, I decided, you know what? Let me start doing something on the side. And so I started doing some tax returns actually in undergrad for like friends, roommates, and things like that. But I also was working for a limousine company. We'll have to do a whole nother episode on like all the jobs that I've had. My goodness.
We can get into it now, maybe. We'll see, but I want to hear the story. Yep, go ahead.
Yeah. And so working for a limousine company and was doing some tax returns just, for, I say friends and family, but none of my family was in New Orleans. It was all friends. And maybe I'll call them family.
There you go.
And so I remember very vividly, and this is, 25, almost 30 years. The owner of the limousine company was like, hey, I see what you're doing. What would it take to make that official? And I was like, well, I need a laptop. I'm gonna need some software. Like, what does it matter? We had a joking relationship. He was like an uncle to me. I was like, why, you gonna buy me a laptop? He was like, well, if I do, will you? And I was like, if you're gonna buy it, then yes, absolutely.
Nice.
And so, that was kind of the planting of the seed. I did it for a couple years and then, life went along, married, kids, moved to a whole nother part of the map. But then in 2007, I decided, let me help out and do some tax work. Volunteer tax Vita site. I was doing some work with a Vita site and I had several people that were like, hey, can you help me on the side? And I was like, no, I can't do that. Like, it's against like, it's a violation. And I got a whole IT job. Like, I'm just here to have some fun.
Right.
Well, the second year of that, somehow somebody had gotten my contact information and was like, hey, I can't go to that site anymore because I'm outside the parameters and yada, 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 but I need you to help me. And you're the only one that I trust. I'm like, I've only known you for one tax return. Like, it's not even like I've known you for a year. Like, I did your return last year and you're like, you're the only one that I trust. So I appreciate that. I respect that. And I said, well, fine, I'll help you out. I had been doing it in the past anyway. So I decided, sure, why not? I'm not sure if I've ever shared this story publicly, but that continued to grow, Randy. And like more and more people were like, hey, can you help me? Can you help me? And so I was like, well, I guess I'm starting a tax side hustle. I made some cards, which probably was the gift and the curse. I made some business cards and somebody got a hold of my cards and like, hey, I'm gonna hand them out to a friend. Well, what they did, handing them out to a friend, they actually put them on the table in the lobby of the Vita site.
Oh, all right.
And at this point, second year, I'm a site coordinator. So I'm not just, one of the preparers. I'm a paid person of
Right.
this program now. They was like, hey, you can't be soliciting business. And I'm like, I'm not soliciting business. And she was like, well, here's one of your business cards that we had. And I was like, I don't know where that came from. I handed them to someone that I was engaged in a separate relationship with. And they were doing me a favor, and what they did do me a favor. Watch out now. They did me a damn favor. They did me a favor because my calling and my purpose was to do this, but not in that capacity.
Yeah.
Wow, Randy, that just hit me.
Yeah. So this is a revelation to you?
Yeah. Like again, because I've never really shared that part about how someone left my cards on the table and then all of a sudden they decided they wanted to kick me out from being
Right.
a site coordinator and a trainer. I was like, man, I didn't do anything. I
Right.
was helping somebody out and they put my cards. I wasn't like going down the line and saying, hey, come see me out the back door. It was like, anyway, wow, that was a
It
revelation.
was meant
And
to be.
so I was like, okay, well, I guess Vita is done now.
Well,
And I just continued to build the firm, like client 3, client 4, client 5, and I just continued to build while I was still in IT. And so, during tax season, I mean, I was working, it wasn't even my 5 to 9, it was the rest of my time. Like I was in support management. So I was going all day and then I would go to my office and at night and continue to just build and grind and continue to build up the book of business. And I continued to do that while I was still in IT management and user training. Numbers have always been cool to me, just in
yeah,
general.
I know what you mean.
And so, the major milestone was 2015.
Hmm.
So started officially, I mean, it was probably early 2000s, but on paper, like I got started right around '05, '06, '07, somewhere in there. And so 2015, I was in IT management. There was some, we'll call them interesting changes that were happening in the corporate space. And I decided it's time to go. And so left my corporate gig in June, went full time into my firm, and 6 months later, I was closing up on an acquisition of a firm.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And that acquisition essentially doubled the size of my firm. And at that point, I was like, okay, well, I guess this is what I'm supposed to be doing, especially because when I left corporate, I told my wife, I said, hey, I'm leaving on good terms. I'm not going to flip the tables or anything crazy. I said, but in 6 months, if this thing is not working out the way that we need it to work out, I'm going back. Like, my name might still be on the wall for all I know. I'm going to go back and we'll go back to business as usual. And in 6 months, I was actually going deeper into being full time in my firm by way of this acquisition. And that's how I got into it.
That's how it started. Huh? Well, but like you said, they did you a favor by putting your cards out because you realized this is your calling and your purpose. You gave yourself 6 months. In that 6 month time, then this happened. It was like everything was meant to be. And do you feel like you are? Here's one thing, and I've been saying this a lot on the podcast recently. It's a saying that I made up I think I made up. I don't think I plagiarized it, but I feel like I live at the intersection of my passion and my skills. It's like I am where I'm supposed to be right now. And I get this impression that's you feel that way too.
100%.
Yep.
Yeah,
Isn't that a fun place to be?
it is. Absolutely. It's a great place to be. I love it.
Yeah, I do too. All right. So, well, that's a cool origin story. Technically, it started when you were a toddler, even
Yeah,
with your
yeah. I
mom.
was a young lad.
Yeah, with your mom doing this. And then, okay, so then officially 2015, June start, December or whatever, buying the practice. Is that what it was? Was it December that you bought the practice?
So, as crazy as it may be, the closing date was officially March 1st.
March 1st. Okay, so were you working on those clients during that tax season already before closing?
No.
Oh, wow.
3/1, I signed the papers and I realized, oh, all that money just got wired over to her. I drive to the office, which was about 35, 40 minutes from where my legacy office was. And I walked in. I walked in probably 15 minutes after she had walked into the office to announce to her team that she had sold the place.
Oh,
And
wow.
then here I come in behind her 15 minutes later saying, hey guys, new sheriff.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it was literally a cold transition.
Yeah.
She didn't communicate to her staff. She didn't communicate to her
Wow.
clients.
Wow.
And one of the staff, I put big old air quotes on staff, was her daughter. And so her daughter wasn't even aware that she was selling the practice.
Yeah.
Yee. So I was a big bad wolf.
That was a story. So, how did that, that next whole year, but even that next month and a half of tax season, I mean, that had to be insanity.
It was complete insanity. Number one, I'm taking a technology centric firm because that's my background. So everything was techie, paperless, like everything was in the web,
Yep.
to a firm that they had 2.5 computers in the office and everything is paper, is written. I mean, there's
Ooh.
legal pads. Everything is all written and paper clipped in a bunch of manila folders. And I had to figure out that part I say 45 days, but the reality, Randy, is that we are 9 years. I mean, it's been 9 years now. I just celebrated that last weekend. I still have file cabinets in that office of stuff
Yeah.
that hopefully the 10-year retention policy that I have in place will be done next year and I can finally just have one big bonfire. But yeah, it was an adventure to take tech and non-tech and continue to operate them in some level of parallel.
Yeah. I want to get into that whole transition to the parallel, but I'm assuming we're complete transition to tech at this point. Okay, let's hold off on that a minute because that's going to be interesting because that I'm sure built a lot of efficiencies into what was going on there.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about that takeover then. Client-wise and employee-wise, if you don't mind getting into that, how
Yeah.
did that go? Was there
Whew.
a retention of both, or
So, yes, the staff hung out for a while. Even the daughter, she hung out for a little bit. The staff they were okay. And I think because they knew that she had to make a move.
okay,
So they were okay with that. The clients, different scenario.
yeah,
Ah, again, she did not preheat anybody. So, and she had the firm for like 35 years.
oh wow,
And so imagine the middle of March when tensions are already high across the board. We're having joint meetings with the clients where she is saying, hey, I sold the firm, here's the new owner. That's the easy part of the conversation. The challenging part of the conversation is that essentially she has transitioned her baby after 35 years. So she is visually emotional. I mean,
oh,
some of the clients that had been with her for 30 years, she is in tears.
yep,
And I respect that 100%.
yep,
Not mad about that at all. But the optics of that is here's a new guy, boo hoo. And
Uh-huh.
again, I don't want to make light of her boo hoo, but
Right,
here's a
right.
new guy. I'm visually emotional. Y'all have a good time now, you hear? And so clients are looking at me like, you big bad wolf. Like, why would you take this lady's firm from her? I'm like, no, believe me, there's paperwork and money that shows I didn't take it from her. And so that was indeed one of the hardest pieces of that transition. And then the unspoken part of the transition is that I am at the time, younger African American male. She was an older Caucasian woman.
Yep. I was wondering about that. I've heard you say this before, so I was wondering how that went.
Ah.
Yeah.
And so, I remember a conversation with one of the clients where he said, well, what gives you the right to buy the firm?
Okay.
What gives you the right to buy the firm? I said, I challenge you to ask her what gave her the right to sell it.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
we're
Right.
asking the wrong questions here, buddy.
Yeah.
Like, but there was indeed again, the dynamic of that, especially in those meetings where she's saying, hey, here's the new owner, she's visually upset. And I'm sitting here trying to smile, but not have like the Ronald McDonald grin on my face, thinking like I've come in and, I don't want this to be a hostile takeover.
Right.
But it is prime time. And so we have to do some things. We have to do things fast. Like we don't have time to woo, woo, woo. Like, do you want to continue or do you not want to continue? Because I don't have time to babysit this situation. So it was an adventure for sure.
And how long do you think, I mean, come next tax season,
Yep.
did you feel like everything was in place, policies, procedures, technology, or how long did
Nope.
that take to get things going?
If I can be transparent,
Yeah.
it's still going.
Okay. That makes sense.
It's still going. And the reason that it's still going is because I have been trying my best to keep the lights on in both places. So my legacy book of business, there's been no issues. With the other book of business, it's a situation where, I mean, and we did good from an attrition standpoint. A lot of people didn't really leave, but and this is for anyone who's thinking about buying. One of the things that I had no idea, because I didn't have any support going into it. I was like, oh, it's an opportunity. Let me see what it's going to do. But the average age of the clientele in that acquired firm was probably about 66, 67 years old.
I guess it kind of makes sense with her age and how long she'd
Yeah.
had it. Okay.
And so, they were like, well, hey, I'm at the end of my business life. Like, I'm planning to get out of this thing in the next 2, 3 years. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. Wait, hold on.
Yes.
That's going to be fun. And so, yeah, I've been trying to keep the lights on. And where both of the offices are, it's probably about 25, 30 minutes in between them. But there's not like a sweet spot in the middle to have a physical location. And we are indeed physical. Like we have
Okay.
virtual relationships across the board, but the bulk is brick and mortar.
Right.
And so that does bring a different layer to things. And so, yeah, I still go back and forth between both locations every other day. Been doing it
Really?
now for 9 years. My goodness.
All right.
Like, I don't even know what I would do if I wasn't doing it anymore. It would be weird to not be like, oh, I'm going here versus going there. I think from a technology standpoint, technology is fully integrated now from a technology standpoint. But I laugh. I mean, I have 3 paper checks sitting on my desk for people that have paid today.
Yeah.
They wrote their check right in front of our credit card processing machine, but that's what they are accustomed to. And I'm okay because you saved me the processing fees, whatever.
Right.
But it's funny to me that you could do all of this virtually, but you wanted to drive to the office to drop off a check, which I now have to go drive to the bank and deposit. So even as small as the payment piece is still paper.
Right.
But we don't, yeah, the only paper that we have in the office now is all of the legacy files. Like today, it's PDF. And if you bring me paper, I'm going to make it a PDF and then we're going to give you the paper back because we don't want it.
Nice. Nice. And then going back to the original transition from her to you, and you said there's paper, they're keeping paper copies. I mean,
Yeah.
that you say we're fully integrated now. What was that journey like to get from her non-technical
Yeah.
aspect of technology-based aspect running a firm to your,
It was actually pretty easy. And
okay,
and the reason for that is because she was only around for 30 days, literally 30 days. I think I had her hang out for until April 15th. And according to our contract, she had to be paid an hourly rate after 30 days. And she meant every part of that. But anyway, because she was out of the picture, it was like, well, hey, this is now my show. This is how we're going to do it.
right.
And so that was a route that we went. So it was easy because I have an IT background. Like it wasn't a heavy lift for me to make that conversion over to being more paperless in a very quick turnaround.
And how about pricing? And was that an issue?
Pricing is still an issue.
Yeah,
This is like a therapy session. Pricing is still an issue because where she was priced was, I mean, it was still as if she was operating out of her basement. And
right.
so, again, because I didn't want to run everyone away, I still kind of kept them within range of where they were. But I did start making stair step increases year over year to kind of get them closer to where our legacy folks were. And people would complain about, oh my gosh, you went up $25. Like, you're $175 under market rate and you're complaining about 25?
Right, right.
Yeah,
I mean, that's actually, and you know this, I don't have to tell you, but that's one way to get rid of clients too that, are going to be the pain in the ass clients.
that's right. Pain in the anatomy is what I call
There you go. I know. Hey, we're gonna have to cut that out. We've never had to bleep anything. Is that something we'd have to bleep? I don't know. Justin will cut that out. We'll go with your version of it. Actually, one time we had to bleep, and that was Scott Scarano. That's the only time
Oh,
we ever
well,
had
I'm
to
not
bleep.
surprised at all.
Yeah, no, me neither, actually. All right, so I get curious when I talk to people, and especially like this, the whole takeover and the transition from one firm to a next, and then you're just giving me some ideas too. And when we're done, then we're going to talk about these ideas off the recording. But from a pricing model, then it sounds like it was probably she was probably fixed fee. It sounds like already. Is that what you have always been? Is that what you've continued, or how's
Yeah.
pricing work for you? Yep.
So,
Okay.
yeah, it was fixed fee. She did have an hourly rate that I think was a little ghetto, but it was mostly fixed fee. I was already fixed fee as well. And so it was easy to hang out in that space and the clients were okay
Yep.
with it. And it definitely made it easier from a transition standpoint where we didn't have to say, well, pricing used to be like this, but now it's this. So that did make for a seamless transition.
Okay, and then one last thing on pricing before we move on, because again, I get intrigued with these conversations. I know a lot of people have gone to the pay before tax season model. It
hmm
sounds like, I don't know, yeah, I won't put words in your mouth, but I know at least some people are paying you during tax season because you said you got these paper checks. Have you looked at that? Have you thought about it? Are you doing it? What's your model of when you bill?
So we receive payment upon completion. So far, we haven't had a lot of a challenge with folks not doing what they're supposed to do.
Okay,
However, I've also had to share with myself and with my team that we are an accounting firm. We are not a collections firm.
right. Yes, that's a
And
big
so
deal.
I have been considering like what does it look like to collect before the party gets started. I mean, one of the things that we did do just to make sure that we didn't get completely shafted was that if anyone has like they have multiple years, we need a 50% deposit before we can get the party started, just so that you don't have us do 4 years of returns and then you come up missing.
Yep.
But outside of that, right now, it is still upon completion for
Okay.
the most part.
Nope, that's cool. And we've done episodes like this before where we just kind of dig into the whole, and you and I didn't plan this ahead of time, but hopefully you're having fun because I get, like I said, 3 times already, I'm intrigued with stories like this.
Yeah.
So let's get into then the whole philosophy of Proctor and Associates, the whole, what's your vision, your mission, I mean, I know when I read it, the intro, we talked about, empowering clients through financial literacy, personalized solutions, embodying values of education, relationship building, reliability, and drive. I mean, how do you, I guess, is that how you would describe Proctor and Associates like I did?
100%.
Okay, good.
Yeah, 100%. One of the biggest things for us is we want our folks to have some level of understanding of what's happening.
Yep.
Are you going to be a tax person? Are you going to be an accounting person? Are you going to be a payroll person? No, that's not what you're going to be. But I do want you to understand, like, what is on my 1040? What is on my S corp return? What's the difference between employee tax and employer tax? And why do I think that I paid income taxes I did? I want you to have some level of understanding around that. Specifically on the accounting side, we do the numbers, we do your books, you give you all your financial statements, but then you take those financial statements and you give them to your lender, and then the lender asks you questions and you're like, oh, I don't know, I gotta go. No, you need to know, like, why did we spend X amount of thousands of dollars on advertising? Like, you see that and you be prepared. Oh, by the way, your advertising was like 45%. So they may ask you a question about that. So now you are equipped. When they ask you a question, you can fire right back and say, well, here's the reason. And now it increases their trust in you, that you at least have an idea of what's going on. So that education piece, I want folks to know, have an understanding of what's happening and feel good about it.
All right. So education's sounds like a passion, not just with clients, but overall. Like, I know you speak at conferences, and I'm transitioning here. We can go back to the firm, but you are out speaking. And, you were out at Into a Connect. You and I talked there. You were speaking there. Are you speaking accounting conferences solely? Are you speaking at conferences that'll educate client base? Where did the speaking part come in, and what do you go out and speak about?
So apparently I like to talk. Uh, and so for me, I think it really started when it started with this business. I mean, me having conversation with people, and like the right person was like, hey, can you share this with like my friend group? It's like 10 of us, and can you just talk to us about what the heck a P&L is? But the accounting conference circuit, I think for a long time has been, people are probably going to send me hate mail. Boring?
I can
Like,
see that.
it's been a little dry. And so for me, I've had an opportunity to speak, and people are like, oh my gosh, like your personality. And I'm like, I mean, I recognize that I have some personality,
Yes, you do.
but I think, that energy and that vibe, people want to feel, they don't want to feel like they're getting ready to go to sleep.
No.
And not that you're putting on a performance, but I mean, you're putting on a performance.
Yeah.
But how do you make sure that you're getting across valuable content, but then maintaining everyone's interest? And so for me, again, I think that's part of my purpose. And when someone left my cards on the table way back, like, that was setting me up to be in a position where I could share what I have and make it able to be relevant to the folks who need to hear it. And so, accounting conferences, yes. Business ownership, yes. Leadership development. I have a heart for kids, the youth. And so, even talking to the youth about financial management,
Oh, nice.
because we know it's different today. Like, you earlier in the call, you said something about you have a QR code for me to send you some money. Like, this is how they pay and receive. They
Right.
use QR codes. It's no longer taking cash out of your wallet and feeling that $20 bill leave your hand. It's, oh, boop. I scanned the QR code and money is gone. So how do I manage that? And so talking to the youth, I love that.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that, doing that. And you may be doing your small part to get people excited in accounting and help us with the pipeline issue.
Pipeline, yes, because we need some folks to come on in.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yep.
We welcome you with open arms.
So before we wrap up, because I don't want to wrap up because I'm enjoying this so much. But before we do wrap up, I got a handful. Let's go with 3 final questions, and we'll go with this one first. You've had obviously a very interesting journey, starting with seeing your mom doing taxes when you were growing up, starting in IT, but then doing this on the side, even in college. And then this transition to 2015, going full time with Proctor's and Associates. Do you have any advice for anybody that may be thinking about this field, this profession? We're just talking about you mentoring kids. Advice for anybody that's aspiring to maybe go into tax and accounting that you would give people, like, do this, do that, think about this, don't do this.
Even with the level of technology that we have, this is an industry where you have to have an understanding of, I guess what they say, how the sausage is made.
Mhm.
Because technology, and we see, I mean, look, AI is all over the place, and AI can shift your life to the good or it can flatline you. So come on in, come into the industry, come into, having a firm, but don't only rely on, oh, technology's got my back.
Right. Right.
You have to be able to understand behind the scenes the mechanics of what's going on. And so if you can understand the mechanics, then it's going to strengthen the technology because you still have to double check. And like, did the technology do what it was supposed to do?
Right.
And I know today everything is tech, for crying out loud. But don't come in here and think that tech is going to just continue to accelerate you because you have to understand behind the scenes. That like right out the gate, like that's my first thought for someone that's interested in coming in. The second thing, really quickly, it's not get rich quick. Like this is definitely a relationship industry. And so if you come in, you're going to have to put in some work to build it. Now you can put in work and you can build this thing in 12 or 18 months or 12 to 18 years, but you will have to put in work. But it will yield some pretty good results for you as long as you're willing to put in the work.
Yep. And there's so much opportunity with just accounting. It isn't just one thing. I
No,
mean, tax isn't just one thing; it's multiple things. And so, if you can find, well, like you found your calling and your purpose with your firm, you can find your calling and your purpose within a firm too.
that's
There
right.
can be other areas that, hey, I'm doing tax right now, but I really like the accounting side of things, and so you can transition. I love doing advisory work, not the compliance work. So if someone could do compliance, you could do the advice. So there's so much opportunity
Yeah.
within the just word accounting, going into accounting, that's the one thing I think to add on what you said. All right. This has been a great conversation. Two final things before we close out. We got your story. I think we know who you are. No, we don't know who you are completely now, but it was a cool to get to hear the story from your birth to the firm birth to the maturing of the firm. And now, yes, we know you have a passion for what you're doing, but when you're not working,
Yeah.
what's your outside of work passions? What do you love doing when it's not work?
The answer that I'm supposed to say is kicking it with my kids.
Yeah, well,
But I do actually enjoy hanging out with my kids. My daughter is the oldest. She's spoiled brat. I created the monster. I take accountability for that. But then my boys, I mean, my boys are both teens and just hanging out with them, having conversations and doing that. The kind of fun element is that I actually have a red sports bike, motorcycle.
ooh,
And because these calls are recorded for quality assurance and training purposes, I stay within 5 miles of the posted speed limit
all right.
10% of the time. And so that I enjoy being on a motorcycle and just, being out and taking in the scenery.
Yeah, it just motor. Yeah, I had a motorcycle growing up as a kid, dirt bike, and it was out there all the time. But man, as I get old now, motorcycles scare me.
Yeah, they are scary.
Uh,
I'm scared of driving, shucks, nowadays.
yeah, well, that's not even you though. It's everybody else that can't
It's
see
everybody
you.
else around.
Yep, yep. So
Hmm.
okay, motorcycles, and I did get a little cheat sheet. I don't know where I saw this, but bowling.
Bowling is my thing. I haven't been as active as I would like to be or as I have been. But yeah, I enjoy going like bowling and motorcycles. Those are my things. If anyone invites me out bowling, I will be there. And yes, I am going to show up with my own bag, my own
Yep.
shoes, and I have 3 different balls that I can use to get the job done on the lanes. Yes, sir. That's
Nice,
me.
nice. All right. That's cool. And then lastly, if anybody wants to find out more about you, Proctor Associates, what's going on, where would they look?
Yeah. So the social medias, I always like to say that. On Instagram, I am Tony Proctor. The firm is Proctor Tax CLT. LinkedIn, I'm there. And I love to engage with folks. So you can find me on social media. You can also find our website, proctortaxprep.com. We are located in Charlotte, but we we have folks across the map, and so we'd love to have conversations with anyone.
All right. Awesome, Tony. Well, thank you. Thanks for being here. Especially, I should say, we're recording March 7th. So you took your time out of 8 days before business corporate returns are due. And I appreciate you taking the time.
Absolutely. Love it.
Thank you for joining us today on the Unique CPA. You can find the show notes for today's episode and learn more about TriMerit at theuniquecpa.com. Remember to subscribe and leave a 5-star rating on your favorite podcasting app. And join us next time for more expertise and insights on the Unique CPA. Professionalproductions.net